morning friends. Today we are starting a new chapter, chapter 3, coordinate geometry. It's in your textbook page number 51. So within one class we can finish this chapter. So all of you please be careful while learning. And suppose this is your whiteboard of class 9 and I am going to mark one point on this board. This is the point. I am going to mark one point on this board. Now I have to give a name to this point. I have to give a name to this point. So in order to give a name, we need two perpendicular lines. We need two perpendicular lines. So first, using a scale, I have to draw one vertical line and one horizontal line. In order to give a name to that point, I have to draw two perpendicular lines, one vertical and one horizontal line. So vertical line means this line from up to down, and from left to right we have horizontal line, and this horizontal line is called x-axis, or it is called abscissa, and the vertical line is called y-axis, and it is called ordinate. Abscissa and ordinate, or x-axis and y-axis. So we have two axes here, x-axis and y-axis, for giving name to a particular point. Now as we do in number line, we have to number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and also for the y-axis 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 1. Now I have to find a name for that point. So before giving name to a point, we plot two perpendicular lines. One is vertical and one is horizontal, and the horizontal line is called x-axis or abscissa, and the vertical line is called y-axis or ordinate. So when I mark a point on that plane, it is represented by two numbers, which is of the form x comma y. So this is the format for a name. Every name is represented in this form, and this x value is the value obtained in x-axis and y value is the value obtained in y-axis. So I can give this name. So this point is located at x-axis, it is 4, and on y-axis it is 2. So I can call it as 4, 2. So this is how we are representing a point on a plane. So all of you take your textbook and page number 65, read the summary, and the first point: to locate the position of an object or a point in a plane, we require two perpendicular lines. One of them is horizontal and one of them is vertical. So in order to represent a point, here 4, 2 is the point. In order to represent that point, we need two perpendicular lines. Perpendicular means like this, parallel means like this. So we need two perpendicular lines. The horizontal line is called x-axis or abscissa, and the vertical line is called y-axis or ordinate, and the meeting point is called origin. It is represented as 0. The meeting point of x-axis and y-axis is called origin. This is the basic on coordinate geometry. Coordinate means simply that point 4, 2, and we are learning about Cartesian system. It is very simple. A Cartesian coordinate system is a coordinate system. Coordinate means it is of the form x, y, that like. That specifies each point uniquely. So we have to name each point. Uniquely means no other points with the same name. 4, 2 means this is 4, 2. So no other points can have 4, 2 by set of numerical coordinates. So set of numerical coordinates which are signed distance to the point from two fixed perpendicular lines, and that fixed perpendicular lines are called x-axis and y-axis, measured in the same unit of length, which means if we mark 1 here, the same length should be for 2, 3 here also. The distance between one unit should be same for all. So that is called a Cartesian system or a plane. Or another definition, Cartesian coordinate system is used to uniquely determine. Uniquely means no other value can have that same name. For example, if I represent 3, 2 in a plane, no other point can have 3, 2. 3, 2 is only for that particular point. That's mean by unique. Determine each point in the plane through two numbers. Here we use two numbers for determining each point, usually called x coordinate and y coordinate. Here the first number is called x value or x coordinate. The second number is called y coordinate. Coordinate means set of value to show exact position. A set of values to show exact position. I will give an example. Suppose we already learned about plane graph. We already learned about plane origin x-axis and y-axis. Origin x-axis, y-axis are marked here. Now there is a point A 2015. The point A, the address is 2015, which means the x coordinate value or the value in x-axis is 20. This is the x-axis, and the value at y-axis is 15. So we represent 2015 here. So a coordinate means a set of values. Here the values are 20 and 15. Set of values, here we use two values to show an exact position. In order to show this position, I use two values. That is called a coordinate. So it is of the form x, y. All the points are of the form x, y. This is very important. In order to represent a point, you have to write this bracket x, y. So this is important one. So in order to represent a point in a plane, we can represent it as x, y in a plane. This is the form.
To graph or plot points, we use two perpendicular number lines called axes. The horizontal number line is called the x-axis, and we have the positive x values on the right and the negative x values on the left. And the vertical number line is called the y-axis, and the positive y values are above the x-axis and the negative y values are below the x-axis. The point at which the axes cross is called the origin here, and every point on the coordinate plane is identified by what's called an ordered pair. Every ordered pair consists of an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate, and the x-coordinate tells you whether to go left or right on the coordinate plane, and the y-coordinate tells you whether to go up or down on the coordinate plane. So let's consider the ordered pair 4, 3. As we just stated, the first coordinate is the x-coordinate, and the second coordinate is the y coordinate. So to plot the point 4, 3 on the coordinate plane, we start at the origin and we move horizontally to the right 4 units since the x-coordinate is positive 4. Then we move vertically up 3 units because the y-coordinate is positive 3, and then we make a point. This is the point for 3. Let's go ahead and try a few more of these. We want to plot the following points, and again I think it's helpful to think that the x-coordinate tells you whether to go left or right, and the y-coordinate tells you whether you need to go up or down based upon the sign. So for point A, and we usually identify points by capital letters. So for point A, which has coordinates negative 3, 2, since the x-coordinate is negative 3, we start at the origin and go left 3 units this time, and then up 2 units because the y-coordinate is positive 2, and we make a point. This would be point A. The next point, point B, has an x-coordinate of negative 1, so we go left 1, and then the y-coordinate is positive 4, so we go up 4 units. So left 1 unit, up 4 units to point B. Point C, x-coordinate is negative 2, so we go left 2 units, and the y-coordinate is negative 4 now, so we go down 4 units to point C. D has the coordinates 0, negative 2. This 0 tells us we do not go left or right at all. We stay right at the origin, but with the y-coordinate of negative 2, we need to go down 2 units. And lastly, the point 3, 0. This 3 tells us to go right 3 units, and the y-coordinate of 0 tells us that we do not go up or down. We stay right on the x-axis. So the point 3, 0 would be right here on the x-axis. Let's go ahead and try this in the opposite direction now. We're given several points that are plotted, and we want to identify the coordinates. Well, the easiest way to do this is just draw a line straight to the x-axis and straight to the y-axis. And we can see the x-coordinate is positive 1 and the y-coordinate is positive 5. So A has the ordered pair 1, 5. We do need to be careful that we list the x-coordinate first. So for point B, the x-coordinate would be negative 6 and the y-coordinate positive 2. Point C, the x-coordinate is negative 2 and the y-coordinate is negative 4. D, the x-coordinate positive 4, y-coordinate negative 4. Notice E is right on the y-axis. Again, we follow the same rules. Draw a segment straight to the x-axis, which would be 0, and the point is on the y-axis right at negative 2. So the coordinates would be 0, negative 2. And lastly, point F, the x-coordinate would be 7, and the y-coordinate would be 0.
Quadrant. Quadrant means, quad means 4. So now we are dividing this plane. This is a board. I am dividing this board using 2 perpendicular lines. So you have to use scale and pencil. So the board is divided into 4 parts, and these 4 parts are called quadrants. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. While you drawing a coordinate, you have to mark x-axis and y-axis, otherwise you will lose 1 mark, and also origin. So the first quadrant is this. This is called first quadrant. So the first quadrant is this. This is the second quadrant. This is the third quadrant. This is the fourth quadrant. So for the first quadrant, when I represent a point here, suppose this is the point, and the x value is this, and the y value will be positive. So both the x value and y value will be positive for any point. Suppose I am marking here, the x value and y value will be positive for the first quadrant, and for the second quadrant, if I represent here, the x value will be negative. The x value will be negative and the y value will be positive. Y value means the value at y axis. Okay, y value is 2, so it will be positive. And for the third quadrant, x value and y value will be negative. And the fourth quadrant, the x value will be positive and the y value will be negative. This is how we split a plane into four: first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant in a anti-clock format. So for these quadrants, first quadrant the value will be positive because if I mark a point here, it is 8, 3. 8 and 3 are positive. So any point on first quadrant will be of the form positive. And for the second quadrant, if I mark any point, suppose this is the point minus 3 comma 2. This is minus 3 comma 2. So it is of the form minus value plus value. And for the third quadrant, all the values are negative. Suppose I marked here, it is minus 10, minus 9. All the values are negative. So minus 10 is obtained from x-axis and minus 9 is obtained from y-axis. And the fourth quadrant, suppose this is the point, it is called 10 minus 8. So x value will be 10 and y value will be minus 8. So plus minus form. So we have already learned about abscissa and ordinate. Abscissa refers to the horizontal line, which is x-axis, and ordinate refers to the vertical line, which is y-axis. This is x-axis, this is y-axis. Abscissa means the value of x and ordinate means the value of y. So a point is represented as x coordinate comma y coordinate. X coordinate is the value obtained from x-axis and y value is obtained from y-axis. Suppose I am going to mark this point. This is the most important part of your chapter, marking points in a plane. So first I have to draw x-axis, y-axis, origin and all. So I am going to mark these points. So first thing I have to give arrows because the values are continuing. 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So you have to use scale and pencil. So this is x-axis, this is y-axis. So the markings are over. Now we have to plot that point 0, 0, which means the origin. For the x value it is 0 and for the y value it is 0. 0, 0 is the origin. 2, 3. So 2 is in the x-axis 2 and 3 is in y-axis 3. So using scale you have to, this is 2, 3, minus 3, 1. In x-axis minus 3. So in x-axis minus 3, this is the minus 3 in x-axis and 1 in the y-axis. So this is the 1. So this is minus 3 1, and also I have to mark minus 1.5 comma minus 2.5. So minus 1.5 is here and minus 2.5 is here. So this is minus 1.5, 2.5. So this is the markings. Using scale and pencil you have to mark for representing 0 0. First 0 0 is the origin, so that point is the 0 0. For representing 2 comma 3, first I have to take 2 on the x-axis and 3 on the y-axis, and the combination we will get the point 2 comma 3. And for minus 3 comma 1 I have to take minus 3 on x-axis, 1 on y-axis, so the combination of that both points will get minus 3 comma 1, minus 1.5, minus 2.5, which means minus 1.5 is here, minus 2.5 is here. This is the x value. Don't search for 2.5 on x-axis, it is the y value. So you have to search minus 2.5 on y-axis. So 1 comma 2 means you have to search x value for 1. Don't go for y-axis, and for 2 you have to go to y-axis. So this is how we are plotting. This is the summary of your chapter. This is the summary. To locate the position of an object, we require two perpendicular lines, x-axis and y-axis, horizontal and vertical, and that plane. So we use a plane to mark all these points. The plane is called Cartesian or coordinate plane. Coordinate means it is of the form x comma y. So we call it as coordinate plane or coordinate axis, and the lines, perpendicular lines are called coordinate axis also. Horizontal line is the x-axis and vertical line is the y-axis, and we can divide the plane into four parts called quadrants. The intersection of x-axis and y-axis is called origin. The distance of a point from y-axis is called x-coordinate or abscissa. The y-coordinate is called coordinate. So this is the form x comma y is the form of coordinates. The coordinates of the point on x-axis are of the form x comma 0. Suppose I want to mark 3 comma 0, 4 comma 0, etc. So 3 comma 0 means I have to take x-axis the value 3 and y-axis the value 0. 0 means that same line. So 3 0 comma is the 3 comma 0 lies in x-axis. Also 4 comma 0 lies in x-axis. So in x-axis it is of the form x comma 0. And similar case of y-axis, for represent 0 comma 1, x value is 0 and y value is 1. So this is the point. For 0 comma 2, this is 0 comma 2. So on y-axis the points are of the form 0 comma y. Origin is called 0 comma 0, and the sign for the first quadrant is plus plus, second quadrant minus plus, minus minus in third quadrant, and in fourth quadrant we have plus minus form. So this is the summary of our chapter. Problem 1 and 2 both are homework. So read the question in problem 1. In which quadrant or which axis these points are lying? So first you have to plot all that points in a plane. For example, minus 1 comma 0. So minus 1 comma 0 is this point, and for minus 1 comma 0 you have to write that point lies on x-axis. And consider another example, 3 comma minus 1, 3 comma minus 1. So 3 value is the x value and minus 1 is the y value. This is the point 3 comma minus 1. So it lies on fourth quadrant. Like that, the first problem you have to finish, and the second point you have to plot the points respecting x value and y value. The first is minus 2 and 8. X value is minus 2, so minus 2 lies here, and the y value is 8. 8 is here. So minus 2 comma 8 is this point. So you have to plot all these points in a plane. So do exercise 3.3 problem 1 and 2. If you have any doubts, you can ask in your group. We finished this chapter. On Wednesday we will be having a live session to clear all the doubts, and in the afternoon we will have an exam of 20 marks. So read the summary well. Okay, thank you.